Today's class is on pharynx. So objectives are to know the boundaries of the pharynx and its various parts. That is the nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. So in oropharynx, we are going to find some important features called as the Valdes lymphatic ring and the palatine tonsil. And in laryngopharynx, we have the pyriform fossa. Pharynx is a wide muscular tube. It is situated behind the nose, mouth, and larynx. Superiorly, it is bounded by the base of the skull, which includes the body of the sphenoid and basilar part of the occipital bone lying in front of the pharyngeal tubercle, and inferiorly, it extends up to the lower border of cricoid cartilage, that is the sixth cervical vertebra. So here it is continuous with the esophagus. Posteriorly, it glides freely on the prevertebral fascia. So anteriorly, the pharynx communicates with the nasal cavity, oral cavity, and the larynx. On each side, the pharynx communicates with the middle ear through the auditory tube, which is also called as the pharyngotympanic tube or the eustachian tube. So coming to the various parts of the pharynx, we have the nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. The nasopharynx, it is situated behind the nasal cavity. Its walls are rigid and non-collapsible. It is respiratory in function and lined by pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium. It is supplied by the pharyngeal branch of pterygopalatine ganglia. The other parts of the pharynx, that is the oropharynx and laryngopharynx, are supplied by the glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerves. The nasopharynx communicates anteriorly with the nasal cavity and inferiorly with the oropharynx. Its lateral wall presents the auditory tube, or also called as the eustachian tube or the pharyngotympanic tube. This tube communicates medially with the nasopharynx and laterally with the middle ear cavity. It is bounded by the tubal elevation. Behind the tubal elevation, we have the tubal tonsil, so which is also called as the collection of the lymphoid tissue. A salpingopharyngeal fold is a vertical fold running downwards from the posterior margin of the tubal elevation. This is formed by the salpingopharyngeus muscle. Fossa of Rosenmuller. It's also a pharyngeal recess a narrow vertical slit situated behind the tubal elevation. The roof and posterior wall of the nasopharynx forms a continuous slope. The features seen here are the pharyngeal tonsil, also called as adenoids, another collection of lymphoid tissue, and this is better developed in children. A median recess in the mucosa called as pharyngeal bursa is seen. Coming to the next subdivision, that is the oropharynx, situated behind the oral cavity. It communicates above with the nasopharynx and below with the laryngopharynx. Posteriorly, it is supported by the third cervical vertebra. Laterally, it presents the tonsillar fossa, in which lies the palatine tonsil. Coming to the Valdes lymphatic ring, these are aggregations of lymphoid tissue in relation to the oropharyngeal isthmus. Above or superiorly, we have the pharyngeal tonsil, depicted as number 1. Above and laterally, we have the tubal tonsil, depicted as number 2. The right and left palatine tonsils, and inferiorly we have the lingual tonsil related to the tongue. Coming to the palatine tonsil, it is almond or oval shaped. It lies in the tonsillar fossa, bounded by the palatoglossal and palatopharyngeal arches. So it contains the surfaces, borders, and poles. The surfaces are medial surface and lateral surface. Borders are anterior border and posterior border. Poles are upper pole and lower pole. The medial surface, it is lined by the non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, the same epithelium which covers the mucosa of the oral cavity. It contains 12 to 15 crypts. Among these, the largest crypt is called as the intertonsillar crypt. This intertonsillar crypt has a cleft called as the intertonsillar cleft. This represents the second pharyngeal pouch. Peritonsillar abscess begins in this cleft. The lateral surface of the palatine tonsil is covered by capsule. This surface forms a tonsillar bed. The tonsillar bed is formed by the pharyngobasilar fascia, superior constrictor and palatopharyngeus muscle, the buccopharyngeal fascia, glossopharyngeal nerve, styloglossus muscle, The branches of facial artery, that is the tonsillar and ascending palatine branch. The anterior border of the palatine tonsil is related to the palatoglossal arch. The posterior border is related to the palatopharyngeal arch. The upper pole of the tonsil is related to the soft palate, while its lower pole is related or attached to the side of the tongue, in front of the palatoglossal and palatopharyngeus muscle. There are two vestigial folds called as plica triangularis and plica semilunaris. Plica triangularis is triangular vestigial fold covering the antero-inferior part of the tonsil, and plica semilunaris is a semilunar fold present in the upper part of the tonsillar sinus. Coming to the blood supply of the tonsil, so many arteries are going to supply it. So main branches of the particular external carotid artery, that is the lingual artery, facial artery, ascending pharyngeal artery and maxillary artery, supply this particular small structure called as a palatine tonsil. The various branches are dorsal lingual branch of lingual artery, tonsillar branch of facial artery, ascending pharyngeal artery, which is a direct branch of the external carotid artery, greater palatine branch of maxillary artery. Coming to the venous drainage, we have one or more tonsillar veins. The lymphatic drainage is into the jugulo-digastric group of lymph node. Nerve supply is by the glossopharyngeal and lesser palatine nerves. So coming to the applied anatomy, inflammation of the tonsil is called as tonsillitis. There is a peritonsillar abscess, also called as quinsy. Removal of the tonsil is called as tonsillectomy. Coming to the third subdivision of the pharynx, that is the laryngopharynx. It is situated behind the larynx. It extends from the upper border of the epiglottis up to the lower border of cricoid cartilage. The anterior wall contains the inlet of the larynx, apart from the arytenoid cartilage and posterior surface of the cricoid cartilage. The posterior wall is supported by C4 and C5 cervical vertebra. The lateral wall presents the pyriform fossa, which is situated one on either side of the larynx. So boundary of the pyriform fossa, medially we have the aryepiglottic fold, a fold which extends from the arytenoid cartilage up to the epiglottis. Laterally we have the thyroid cartilage and thyrohyoid membrane. The importance of this fossa is beneath the mucosa lies the internal laryngeal nerve. So foreign bodies are very common in this particular region. So, any removal of the foreign bodies may lead to damage to the internal laryngeal nerve, leading to anesthesia of the supraglottic part of the larynx. So, assignment. So, nasopharynx, boundaries, features, nerve supply and blood supply. Oropharynx, boundaries, features, nerve supply and blood supply. Laryngopharynx, boundaries, features, nerve supply and blood supply. Valdates, lymphatic ring. Palatine tonsil, parts, gross features, blood supply, nerve supply, lymphatic drainage, histology, development and applied anatomy. Quinsy, pyriform fossa.